The covert split is really like a vehicle for me to see the world. Multiple continents, the Himalaya, Bolivia, Europe. It hasn't taken me to outer space yet, but that's definitely on the list. I went to India with the covert in 2018 with a few friends, Nick, Luke, and Neil. We went over there to get up into the Himalaya and try to find some snowboard terrain. It took about a week of constant movement. We took planes, trains, sketchy car rides, you name it, to get away from the city and up into the mountains. We got to this tiny village that was only accessible by foot. Super nice up there, really quiet and very still. The locals let us pitch our tents on their roof the night we got in and invited us into their little tea room to warm us up with some chai. We all crammed into this tiny room and they had a baby sheep in there, or lamb, baby lamb or something. It was super cute. So we left the village that next morning and we hiked into camp, set up camp at the base of these giant mountains, and the views were just spectacular. I couldn't stop drooling over these mountains. The scale was just immense. It was hard to put it into perspective. The snow that year was like super low. It felt like springtime or something, but it was January. And on the first day, the weather was great, stable, and we picked out this warm-up line to go hike and ride, and we thought it'd only take us a couple hours until we got into it, and we were wallowing through like waist-deep old recycled powder snow for 3,000 feet, and it ended up taking us like 8 hours to climb. And it was pretty high elevation. I mean, before we knew it, we were topping out at 17,000 feet, which was a personal record for me. We were in the shade of these mountains, so it was freezing cold, but we had 3,000 feet of powder turns ahead of us, so that warmed us up pretty quick. After we rode our first line, we got back to camp and a storm rolled in really quick, socked us in. It was dumping snow. After we had assessed the snow earlier that day, we were a little alarmed by it. It was a little sketchy. So we knew that any new snow on top of that was just a recipe for disaster. And we had to pack it up and head back to civilization. It's always hard to leave such a beautiful place with so many more lines to ride, but when the conditions are sketchy and you're that far out, you really gotta abide by the laws of nature. I think what's cool about splitboarding is it has the ability to change your perspective on a lot of things in life and slow down and really enjoy like all the intricacies of life. And if you let it and you let it take you places, you'll discover new cultures, you'll meet people. Yeah, to me, splitboarding isn't all about snowboarding. You learn to love the walking and the stillness of the mountains, talking with your friends, listening to your breath, feeling the snow, seeing the environment change. Yeah, it's an amazing way to see the planet, and it goes a little bit deeper than perfect powder turns.